Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Better Feet, Podoexpert, and OniFix certification presentation. My name is Crystal, and I will be your presenter and educator through this course. We're going to start this course by learning a little bit more about Podoexpert. In fact, we're going to learn so much about Podoexpert that at the end of this, you've completed your exam, you will be a Podoexpert specialist. So, who is Podoexpert? Well, if you've been in the foot care field for a while, you may remember Allpremed. Allpremed is the original foot foam cream. They are the company that discovered the magic of foam when it comes to foot creams. It was designed by podiatrists and dermatologists and other industry specialists. And I had the pleasure and just the opportunity to meet the scientist who was involved in spearheading that formula in Germany. So Allpremed has been providing 25 plus years of proven results. And in 2019, Allpremed rebranded in North America and became Podoexpert. Now, the reason that they did this is that in North America, Allpremed was largely being utilized by the aesthetics field. However, it is a medical grade skincare. Now, it is over the counter, but the results are medical grade. They make huge changes in clients' skin, and they have the clinical studies to back it up. So they really wanted to change their branding and focus more on educating the medical community. So, what are the characteristics of dry skin? We're going to start there. Just learn a little bit about the biology of skin. Many of you know this already. That's great. Just a little review so we have it fresh in our mind. So the medical term for dry skin is xerosis. And this basically describes skin that has decreased hydration and reduced quality or quantity of lipids. So this loss of lipids essentially leaves gaps in the outer skin barrier. So that upper skin barrier has gaps in it. Therefore, xerosis or dry skin can be appropriately referred to as hydrolipid depleted skin. And you can really see the effects of that in this picture comparison here. The picture on the left, we see the intact protective skin barrier, and it's just nicely sealed and keeping everything in and out as it should. When you look at the picture on the right, you can see that there are gaps in the barrier, and the redness is indicating that something has breached that barrier and getting into the skin. And conversely, you can also see the blue, which is representative of the transepidermal water loss. So this is what we're trying to avoid. This is why helping our clients to achieve the best quality skin in their feet makes such an impact and really should be the top of the list for things we address with our clients' foot health. So dry skin requires care and maintenance. In order to do that, we really just want to educate our clients on how to repair the damaged skin they have and what they can do to prevent it from coming back. So why are the foam creams so unique? Well, Podoexpert foams actually induce the skin barrier to repair itself. And it achieves this because of the two unique features that are found only in the Podoexpert series. So there are other foams out there, but they don't have this patented technology. So the two technologies are the biomimetic, which is the barrier technology, and the lipo-2 skin repair, which is the lipid technology. So let's jump into them. So first we're going to start with the Bioexpert Skin Protection and Moisture Optimization Technology. This is essentially the barrier that Podoexpert creates over the skin when it's applied. This is non-inclusive. It is a selectively permeable protective mesh over the skin. It's often compared to Gore-Tex in that it helps keep body heat in, the cold out, but it also lets the body perspire. In this case, it's actually reducing excessive transepidermal water loss while still allowing the skin to sweat, still allowing it to breathe. But it's also protecting it from germs and dirt and allergens. So combine this with the lipid-rich emulsion. It creates an ultra-smooth, easy-to-spread foam. So this is versus the messy greasiness of a cream or a lotion. And it's really worth mentioning that if a cream or a lotion is difficult to absorb into the skin, you have to rub more and even sometimes more assertively just to get it to absorb. In this case, with the foam and how easy it is to spread and absorb into the skin, this is safer for our clients, particularly our elderly clients whose skin tends to be more easily sheared because of it. It's so paper thin. Another unique feature of this Podoexpert treatment is that it's more functional and efficient than other comparable emulsions. A little bit goes a long way, and this foam is extremely productive. So it's 125 mils in a can, but 125 mils ends up being a very, very large amount. And I have a really great picture to show you about that on the next slide. But here in this picture, we can see another demonstration that's really helpful. And this is how well it absorbs. So I sometimes like to think of the barrier technology by comparing it to a different type of barrier. Let's say zinc, for example. Zinc is an amazing ingredient, and zinc creams are so helpful for healing so many things in our skin. I don't know about you, I have children, and we have zinc cream in the house all the time, ever since they were babies. But that stuff just works on all kinds of different skin lesions and helps them to heal up quickly. But it is heavy and it is greasy. And this is very typical of barrier creams. They are heavy and they're greasy, and they create the barrier by sitting on the surface of the skin. However, Podoexpert tends to plug itself so effectively into the skin that it doesn't leave any greasiness or film behind. So in this picture on the right side, you can see a typical barrier cream that was applied to the foot and what it looks like when that person takes a step onto the tiles. You can see there's so much residue. In the picture on the left, you can see Podoexpert, and there's very little residue. That's because it plugged right into that skin and absorbed. So this is really important to know, the unique features and benefits of the Podoexpert foam creams. This is because as a medical professional, you're going to be educating your clients, and absolutely you're going to educate them on all of the options that are available to them. And once you see the benefits of Podoexpert and you see people's skin healing, you're probably going to become as enthusiastic about it as I am. And so it's helpful to know what sets it apart. So when you're comparing the different options with the clients, you know exactly why Podoexpert perhaps has different results. So it is a unique patented technology. As I mentioned, there are other foams, but they are not the same. It is fast absorbing and non-greasy. So important. So many clients just hate having that greasy feeling on their feet. They want to just sit there and let their feet air dry after their visit, which means that they are immobilized. They can't get up, they can't walk around, and they can't put their socks on. It is a better delivery system of the active ingredients to the skin. So if you think of all those really great juicy ingredients that are included, and we're all familiar with urea, and some of the other ingredients are great too, like the allantoin or the pyroxdone. Well, this foam delivers them so well because, again, it plugs into the skin. It's very well absorbed. But if you have a greasy emulsion, the active ingredients tend to get trapped in that greasy film that sits on the top of the skin and then rubbed off rather than being absorbed. So, we talked a little bit about how easy it is to distribute over the skin, how it has an ultra smooth, gentle application, which means it doesn't rely on you putting a bunch of pressure on your client's skin. It absorbs so easily and gently that it can be used on even your most compromised clients without causing any shearing. There's a significantly higher yield than other conventional products. And I did tell you there was a really neat picture, and you can see that here on the right side. There's two beakers here, and both of them have 125 mils of product in them. But the one on the right is a typical cream. You can see it's just simply 125 mils, as you would expect. But the one on the left is the Podoexpert foam, and you can see a can of 125 mils actually makes a giant cloud of product. So it really is, it's under pressure in that can, and it doesn't look like much, but 125 mils goes a long way. And if your client is applying it as instructed, like a walnut size amount per foot, twice a day, this should keep them going between visits, well in stock with their Allpremed all the way to their 6 to 8 week next visit. It has the best compatibility with socks and compression stockings because, again, it absorbs so well, you can put their socks or stockings on right away. It can be used between the toes. I use it between their toes. It is a very vulnerable spot of the foot, so I spend extra time making sure it's really well rubbed in and absorbed before I move on. I really don't take for granted that benefit. And it is the original foot foam for over 25 years, and there really is something to be said for that. So let's jump back into the skin structure and function before we talk about the clinical study, just so we have a really solid foundation. So here in this picture, we're going to talk a little bit about the bricks and mortar model. So the bricks and mortar model works like this. The bricks are the skin cells or the corneocyte cells. The brick and mortar model refers to the stratum corneum, and this is the uppermost layer of the epidermis. So basically, this is the layer of skin that we can visually see with our eyes, the shield that protects us from our environment. And this stratum corneum is where we're going to see the effects of dry skin and where we're going to be evaluating how effective our skincare treatment really is. So we talked about the bricks. They are the skin cells. They are keratin that has moved up the layers of the skin till this final layer at the top, the stratum corneum. And those keratin cells have become hard and flattened. Now, the mortar of this brick and mortar model is actually the lipid lamellar bilayer. So it's as if there is a river of lipids gluing all of these cells together. It is the mortar that holds the bricks together. Now, a quick little glance at that diagram below, and you can see that the lipids actually line themselves in nice straight lines. When you have a healthy lipid layer, all those lipids will line themselves up almost like magnets. And this is because they have hydrolyphic and hydrophobic ends, which means that one side of the lipid doesn't like water and the other side does. And so as a result, they will naturally line themselves up perfectly. It's beautiful what the body can do. So if we look at this cell, this little sample of the stratum corneum under the microscope, this is healthy skin. This is what we want to see. We can see that the cells are really quite tight together with a nice thin, tight layer of the lipid lamellar bilayer here. And so we can also clearly see that the lipids are healthy because we can see the striations. We can see that they're making nice straight lines right through that layer. So this is wonderful. This is what we like to see. Unfortunately, it's not as common as we would like because the feet are at a disadvantage in the body. They're in the most difficult spot in the body to stay hydrated and the most difficult part of the body to get nutrition because it's the furthest from the heart. So in this picture, we're going to have a look here at the top. We can see that healthy skin, ordered, tight, nice striations in that intracellular space. But in the bottom picture, we can see an example of dry skin. And that intracellular space is much wider. So what's happening is those cells are pulling away from each other. They're shriveling up. They're not hydrated. And as a result, the lipids, there's not enough of them. They can't fill that space. They become disordered and loose. And you really can't see those striations anymore. So that intracellular space is almost twice as big in the unhealthy skin than the healthy skin. So this is where we like to introduce Podoexpert. So Podoexpert did have a clinical study done. It was double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled. This is the gold standard of studies. The purpose of the study was to prove that the biomimetic Lipo2 skin repair technology restores healthy skin barrier in just 4 weeks. So the study was conducted on the Podoexpert dry cracked skin foam, the orange formula, versus a placebo foam. So this is what we are working with here, the Lipo2 biomimetic lipid chains that are included in the Podoexpert, the crux of this line. These bilayer lipids mimic natural skin lipids and fill in the missing gaps within damaged skin. This creates a really nice cohesive skin surface. It's going to prevent the transepidermal water loss and really just create the most healing environment for the skin. The methods that were used for measuring success were, first they took a skin biopsy from the outer aspect of the foot, and they measured skin moisture, the lipid bilayer lengths, and they analyzed the lipids for the type of lipids present and the quantity of lipids present. So here we have pictures from the study, and when you log into the course to complete your exam, there's going to be some videos and there's also going to be a copy of the clinical study so that you can actually read it over and see in more detail. But here's a little excerpt from it. You can see at the start the 2 samples of dry skin, the one using the placebo on the left and the one using Podoexpert on the right. Both of those intracellular spaces were quite wide. The lipids were loose and disordered. When you look at 2 weeks, such a difference in the Podoexpert sample. In fact, the barrier was actually healed after only 2 weeks in this example. But the placebo, again, still was loose and disordered. By 4 weeks, the healthy skin has even leveled up more so that the striations of the lipids are very clear. At 4 weeks in the placebo, it's questionable the kind of results that they're having. You can start to see some of the lipid lamellar double layers, but they're still loose and disordered. What they found in this study is that the total lamellar lipids more than doubled after only 2 weeks, even ones that they weren't looking for, nor were contained in the Podoexpert foam. the only way that this is possible for lipids that weren't contained in the foam to now be present when they weren't before is that the skin regenerated those lipids entirely by itself. This shows that the Podoexpert created the environment that the skin required for self-repair. The Podoexpert created the environment that led to new synthesis of various lipids and stratum corneum components. This is an induction of self-regeneration. It's amazing. And it did show that the skin can be repaired in as little as 2 to 4 weeks. So this is not a quick fix. This is not something that makes the skin feel good today, but terrible tomorrow. It's something that actually is providing lasting results for our clients. The next step as a professional for you is understanding exactly, what do I do? Which products do what? So of course, we're going to start with the Dry to Crack Skin formula, their crown formula. This one comes in 125 mils, which is the usual size that we would sell to clients in the public. And it also comes in the 300 ml professional size. Now, historically, the 300 ml professional size was not available to the general public, but recently they have opened it up to the general public. So when you look at our price sheet, which also is included in your course, you will see there is now a price listed for retail. Whenever you're looking at the price sheet, if there's no price listed for retail, that means it's not to be sold to the public. So this foam, again, it does contain both technologies, the biomimetic and the lipo2. It repairs the skin barrier in only 4 weeks. It makes the very dry skin smooth and supple. It's suitable for those with diabetes, and it's recommended for all dry skin conditions, everything from hyperkeratosis to eczema and psoriasis and beyond. We also have a Podoexpert foam dry to crack skin without urea. So this is the blue formula. It has all of the benefits of the dry to cracked skin with urea. The only difference is that it doesn't have the urea in it. This is not debilitating for this line. I mentioned earlier that I actually met the scientist that developed this line when I went to Germany in 2019. And he really stressed that urea is overstated, particularly in the Podoexpert line. In the Podoexpert line, it really is playing a supportive role, but it is the barrier technology and the biomimetic lipids that are really pulling the weight here and making a difference in the skin. So without urea is quite effective still and is great for people who have sensitivities to urea. And I always mention that if your client is prone to gout or has a history of gout, you wouldn't want to recommend to them to use a skincare treatment that includes urea. If they're using something with urea every single day, there is a certain amount of absorption transepidermally. This can potentially get absorbed into the joints, and the urea can build up in the joints, causing an aggravation of their gout. Now, in my foot care kit, I use the Podoexpert Dry to Crack Skin with urea. If I have a client with gout, I will still use that treatment because one-time application in a 6 to 8 week period is not enough to make any impact on the joints. But daily, multiple daily application is when urea can be problematic. Here's a really nice picture of some results that Julia Lewis had with Podoexpert Dry to Cracked Skin in 4 weeks. Here we have the Podoexpert cream for cracked heels. This was requested, so the company did oblige, and they created the Podoexpert cream for cracked heels. Wonderful product. Typically, we do recommend that it's used as a night serum to the heels. The only problem is we can't guarantee that it is diabetic friendly in the sense that it shouldn't be used between the toes, and it doesn't absorb as well as the foam because it's heavier. It could potentially sit on the surface of the foot a little bit more than the foams do. Now, these are my favorite products, or maybe just below the dry to cracked skin. I absolutely love the antimicrobial products. So, the antimicrobial products in this line are the dry, reddened, and itchy skin and the Podoexpert Healthy Nails treatment. Both of these include the ingredient pyroxdone-olamine. Pyroxdone-olamine has been clinically shown in human studies to have antifungal, antibacterial activity, and to have no known resistance. What this means is that it is an effective prophylactic treatment. It is missing the urea, but it does have the skin equivalent lipids and the barrier technology included in it. And again, like I say, it's got the pyroxdone-olamine, a really key ingredient, lots of science behind the pyroxdone-olamine and its effectiveness as an antimicrobial. So this formula is great for broad spectrum foot hygiene. If your client has pitted keratolysis, sweaty feet, foot odors, athlete's foot. If my clients have a history of any kind of bacterial infections, or if they're a high risk, let's say they have weeping legs, I would tend to use the dry, red, and itchy skin for the antimicrobial effects. If my client is treating toenail fungus, again, often there's spillover from the nails into the skin because the skin is keratin and the nail is keratin. That toenail fungus can live on the skin or the toenail. So I like to recommend the Podoexpert Red because that just reduces the overall microbial load on the foot. Now, the Podoexpert Tincture Healthy Nails treatment is a broad spectrum nail hygiene, but it also strengthens and conditions brittle nails, toenails, and fingernails. So, if your client has fingernails or toenails that tend to crack and be painful, this is a really excellent treatment for strengthening them. It's the bamboo extract that does this. When you're strengthening the nails like that, you're actually making them more resistant to future bacterial or fungal infections as well. So there have been some results with Podoexpert Healthy Nail Tincture with clients who have fungal infections on their nail, although it really isn't marketed for that particular effect. We have just found in practice that it does have that effect for some people. Fungal nail treatment is something that it's a whole discussion all on its own, but I just want to put that bug in your ear. And this is one of the examples, again, from Julia Lewis on the East Coast that had clearly, you can see this is a fungal infection. We can see the patchy orange weakened area of the nail. And with regular use of the healthy nail treatment, that cleared right up. Healthy nails only. That's all this client was using. We do have the Podoexpert shoe and foot deodorant. So they call it the shoe and foot deodorant because it's super duper safe. You can apply it right directly onto your feet, and it can be used on all kinds of leather and canvas, and it's not harmful. So it's not harmful for the skin, and it's not harmful for all types of different fabrics. A lot of people like to use it in their gym and sports bag and on the gear as well. It vigorously sanitizes and freshens. It's a great complement for clients when they are treating toenail fungus, especially if they're starting to see some success with their toenail fungal treatment. They should then start branching out and looking at how can they sanitize the environment that their feet are in so that they can prevent reinfection. And of course, sanitizing their shoes is definitely one of those steps. The Podoexpert Foot Soak Concentrate, it does have 10% urea in it. It has aloe vera extract. So it moisturizes. It's very gentle on the skin. It's pH balanced. It increases elasticity. It's very good at cleaning the skin and softening it. I mix it with water and I use it in a dispenser and it comes out nicely as a foam. I wipe it on and wipe it off. As a nurse, I don't soak the feet, and you shouldn't soak the foot either if you're providing care directly after. But wiping on and wiping off doesn't soak the skin, it just cleanses it in the most gentle and nourishing way. And because this is a concentrate, one of these jugs goes such a long way, it lasts forever. Then we have the callus softener spray. I get so many positive reviews from it, and it isn't just high intensity urea. In fact, they dialed back the urea to 10%, and they included lactic acid and allantoin, and these have the triple effect. So they each work together to enhance the results of the other ingredients. It's very effective at softening calluses, corns, and even toenails. You apply it to the skin, you let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and it's no rinse. You just get straight to work from there. It helps to make callous and dry, non-viable skin more clearly visible. When you are educating your clients, and let's say they've decided, you know what, we want the big guns. We want to go for Podoexpert because we're happy with the science behind it, and or maybe they've tried something else. They've tried Vaseline Intensive Care, but it just wasn't getting them the results that they needed, so they're ready to level up. Your client's ready. So make sure that they have the most success with the product and they know how to use it properly. Knowing how to dispense it is really important. Podoexpert consists of the emulsion and also the gaseous propellants. And so they tend to separate in the can. So it's really important that they give the can a shake before they dispense the product. And particularly if they're using the can for the first time, they have to give it extra shake because it's been sitting, it hasn't been used. Once it gets used once or twice, it takes quite a while for the ingredients to settle, so just a quick shake works well. Also, how to handle the can is important. They should be dispensing the product with the can upright. This will just allow the foam to develop properly. If they tilt the can down as if they were dispensing a cream, so that is the Podoexpert presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it. I realize that this is a recording, so you can't ask your questions like you would in a webinar, but I want you to rest assured that I'm here to answer any questions for you. Please use the contact information I've provided in this course and contact me directly with any and all questions you have. I'm happy to help you. I would love to see you be able to add this to your practice. Not only does it allow you to increase the amount of money that you're able to make in your practice, it's a win-win for everybody because you're able to help your clients in a really meaningful way. And before I shut this presentation off, I do want to mention one key piece here is that as a distributor, as a medical professional, you will be qualified to purchase these products at wholesale pricing. It should never be listed on a website as wholesale pricing unless it's in a locked private page, which it is on my website, longevityservices.ca. This is why you need to apply for professional access on my website. And once I grant that to you, you are able to access these products at wholesale prices. If you have not contacted me to become an approved professional on the website, you will only be able to see the Podoexpert products at the suggested retail price. And we do ask that all distributors respect the retail price and use the suggested retail price in their practice. Professionalism, we don't want to be selling these products in a way that undercuts your colleagues. Sell it at the price that is set and it'll be consistent through everybody's practice. That's all for today, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation and that you are able to implement these products into your practice today.